Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore. We are Baltimore positive. I swear I'm going to change the damn logo. It's our 27th year, our 27th anniversary. All of it brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. I'm getting Ravens tickets this week. Crab Cake Tour is on. I'm getting all over the place. I'm going to be at Fadley's. I'm going to be at Pizza John's. Going to be at Costas and Timonium. We're going to be back downtown at Slancha in Fells Point, and then we're going to end it at Coco's next Wednesday as we get ready for Raven season. Luke is out on the farm. Luke is in the city. We're watching the baby birds sometimes, at least a little bit. I was down at the beach last week celebrating Mako with this guy. He sponsors our WNST Tech Service, which you'll be getting cuts and injuries and this and that. And the Orioles will be calling up some guy you've never heard of, and who the heck knows. Bill Cole is here. He is, especially when I'm at Mako, it's like, which Bill Cole you with? You with that Bill Cole or that Bill Cole? The Bill Cole of Cole Roofing. By the way, I attacked Joe Enoch and that group at the Mako conference, and I said, "Look, man, I need somebody around there to find a 100-year anniversary mug, the one that I broke in the sink about 8 months ago. Can you get me a mug, dude?
Yeah, I can make that happen. I think we have a few floating around.
Not the big tall one, the little
No,
one. The
I know,
tall one
I
I
know
knock
you
over.
can't handle the tall one. I
I
got it.
already
I got
knocked
it.
out over on a board one morning,
Yeah, we don't need that kind of accident
especially with the
happening
way the
again.
Orioles have played. But how are you, dude? Like you're like MIA, but not in my world. I see you, and we're here, and we're there, and we're everywhere. And you got kids, and they're playing this and doing that, and it's summer. But like you've been like guilted into doing the show today, and not even by me, because like I mean, like I'm good. I'm out eating donuts. I'm out eating Thai food, tastiness, all of that. I mean, and I saw you last week, even though like when you and I try to get together we
Yeah, it's
never
pretty
get to
hard.
the finish line unless we
It's
go
pretty
take a
hard.
walk. We're almost literally like a romance. We'd have to take a walk on the beach because that's the only way we're getting lost from people because you and I start a sentence and we can't finish it because somebody comes in and they start
Yeah.
kissing on you and elbowing on me and drinking and there we are in Ocean City.
No, it's been a crazy summer, and I think what I sort of love most about last week is like it just fills me full of like gratitude, right? And like I kind of gotta recognize what that feeling is and put that name to it. But yeah, the fact that uh you and I can't have a full conversation because there's so many other people that just want to interact with us on whatever different level that is pretty awesome stuff, right? Like you're just putting the kindness, the good vibes out there, and when you're in a room full of people and they want to come talk to you, like I love that. And Mako's wonderful because I get the most joy out of like meeting someone new and then being like, "Oh, listen, you need to come over here and meet this person because you guys definitely should do business together, or you should just know each other because you're good people or whatever." So I love all that.
I think the fact that I quacked out on Thursday night and didn't go out drinking makes me 50 or something.
Eh.
Man, I didn't even go up to Dumpsters and get an ice cream cone. I didn't do nothing, right? But
Well,
I did have
the
that Death by
gratitude,
Coconut cake is
the
what I had.
the gratitude continues because I wasn't even there on Thursday because I got in the car Thursday morning and drove up to the BMW so we could
Ah.
host clients and take some of my teammates and all that good stuff. So
Yeah,
yeah, I
that
mean
was
a
sort of
lot
a
of
little
feeling
bit of a
lucky.
different
Yeah,
yeah, it was a different vibe with golf. I would agree. And I saw people Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and Saturday, including the governor on down, who then a day later are out on a golf course, and it was baking out there on
yeah, it was
Sunday.
pretty hot.
I was a guest of Curio. I'm wearing my I'm a blunt person shirt on behalf of my Curio friends, and seeing them on Sunday out there. But I just I want to say something about the beach, not get off of that, because I got a whole
Sure.
list of things here I could talk to you. By the way, Bill Cole, Cole Roofing, Gordian Energy. Tell everybody what you do in a nutshell, because like it's not always stated like what you do, because the solar thing is such a huge part of what everybody should be doing. Hey, look, I talked wind with the mayor of Ocean City, Bigly, about towers
Yeah.
out in the water and all of that. So energy, man. I mean, it's anybody got a BGE bill knows, right?
Yeah, so we do commercial roofing and commercial solar. Everything from servicing any of that stuff all the way to like to helping people totally figure out what kind of returns and then build it and then maintain it. Yeah, look, the energy world continues to get more complicated. People see bills going up, then they see bills in Congress getting passed that sort of completely attempt to undermine, what momentum solar had. Doesn't doesn't kill it. It's not solar's not killable, but it's definitely a pretty significant shift in how it's going to get financed, how it's going to get paid for, what those returns look like, and
Elections
it's
matter. That's where I throw my 2 cents in. So
yeah, but
get
even
what you
yeah,
vote for,
even
and
beyond
you allow beyond that. So
even beyond elections, um, like we, I shouldn't say we because I don't really know that everybody would agree with this, but solar needs to stand on its own 2 feet. We would like it to not have to be reliant on any kind of government incentive or any, that makes the conversation harder for people to understand and confident because the government can change their mind at any time, as evident. So we want to get there. I'm not sure we were there today, and we're taking sort of a rip the band-aid off approach to trying to get solar to stand on its own 2 feet. And, it was going to happen at some point. Like I tell people all the time, yes, I will openly argue with you on on these about different political positions, or at least try and get you closer to neutral sometimes. But our job as a business is to be able to figure out how to participate regardless of who's in office or what policies come down. Like people need roofs, people should be buying solar. We should use the giant fireball in the sky that produces free energy every day. We should figure out how to convert that for everyone. These things make sense. So it's our job to just figure out how to navigate that and bring it to the people who should be able to benefit from it. So it's all
things that
good.
make
Like it's
sense.
fun.
That's what I
Yeah, it's
try to do
fun.
here all day, Billy.
Yeah. No, it's keeps me on my toes, no doubt.
Yeah, especially trying to make sense of things. Speaking of that, and speaking of politics, and I'll get the shovel of manure right on back out and go right back to politics and say this. When I go to Ocean City for this Mako conference for the 72 hours, that's mainly drinking and talking, not really eating much because I kind of forget to do that,
Right.
or as sleeping, which I do, but it's only when necessary, which is more as I get older. But I'll say that. But
I
um,
just on that point, I had some rookies from my team come down and
oh,
I gave them an agenda and
casualties, you mean?
no. On the agenda, I wrote eat at this event and eat at this event. So I teed them up because I've
Because
got
you will forget to
I've
eat. It
got
will
those
be two in
battle
the morning.
scars. Yes, I
And
have those
Pizza
battle
2 goes,
scars.
by the way, dude, as an aside, before I get to Republicans and Democrats and Eastern Shore and Western Shore and
Oh boy.
Trump and everything
Okay.
else,
Okay.
okay? And
Yeah.
uh,
I'll try and keep you away from that for as long as I can
Gavin
here.
Newsom. No,
Okay.
we're not. We're going. I'm gonna dive right in because you'll like what I got to say anyway. So, um, there is a Denny's right at the foot of the bridge at 61st that's open. And I'm going to tell you right now, I
Yes, there
stayed at a
is.
hotel a block and a half away from there this time. And there was a moment when I rolled out of Fager's, and I did roll out of Fager's at 1:38 a.m. because my boy's band was playing there, Bad with Names. I had been drinking water for a good 2, 3 hours at this point after the Brandon Young near perfect game blew up on the
Yeah,
Friday night,
sure.
right? And I was in the Denny's at 2:01 a.m. And before we depart, I'll show you what my pancakes look like because they were delicious.
I bet.
But nonetheless, so I did find a really good spot to eat at 2 a.m. in Ocean
Yes,
City,
sir.
but that's hard to do. And
That
it was
is.
because I did not eat. And it's Those pancakes saved my life, just like the two did in Vegas on the strip there after the win. Bill Cole is here. He is Cole Roofing and Gordy Energy. I want to say this about Mako and Ocean City, and I mean this. And look, I back this up, right? I mean, like, you can go out and see it for yourself at Baltimore Positive, listen at WNST AM 1570. You can check it out on our YouTube, anywhere I am, my Facebook. It's the one place I go where I still have some hope that when I spend time with Cornbread, Carl Anderton, former state delegate, who's now a special representative of Westmore, serving rural districts and rural counties in positive ways. Big sports fan. He's a nutball sport fan. He and his buddies getting their pickup from Wycomico County and drive up for every Ravens game at 6 in the morning.
Yeah, 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 sure, sure,
Yeah, yeah.
sure.
So,
Yep.
and then I meet Julie Giordano, who is the Wycomico County executive. She did, I think, 38 minutes on the air with me, school teacher, Catonsville girl, went to the shore, building the airport down there so they could fly planes to Florida, had the runway extended. And then I sit with the Republican mayor of Ocean City, Maryland, who we get on the win thing. I mean, we did the concerts, we did the popcorn, we
Right.
do all that, right? But I mean, Rick's a Baltimore guy, he's Towson guy, he's clearly the other side of politics of me. And we got on this win thing, and he like convinced me that I shouldn't be laying on the beach looking at windmills, and he's right. And he's right. I mean, I don't know what that means, and that probably means better for solar for you or for whatever. But I know that that's probably not the greatest solution, having landed in Galveston, Texas, and seen what it looks like, and also been in Maui and looked up on a hill and thought, "The hell's that doing there?" And I thought, well, maybe in Maui, you kind of, you do what you got to do in Maui. You're.
Right.
But I'll say this: I talked about immigrants being thrown off of farms in Wycomico County in the poultry industry with Julie Giordano. I've talked H-2B visas with Republicans and Eastern Shore people about why crab meat's $60 a pound, right? I've done all of that. But I'm telling you, man, it's the one place I go. I go to by the way, JB Jennings and David Marks, two Republicans coming out on Friday to Pizza John's. So, like, but it's also a place where Andy Harris hides. It's a place where any semblance of Trumpism doesn't make any sense to anybody, especially people who are educators and stuff, and people who believe in science and aren't racist and like all of that. So all of the news that comes out of this idiot in Washington doesn't always filter down to good people like Al Redmer. You know what I mean? So,
Sure.
like, I would just say this for being perceived as left of Bernie Sanders, and I am on certain issues, far too right of whoever a moderate would be, on the death penalty or some other issues of wokeism that or policing or other things that, like, I'm very open-minded about what we need to be doing to make our society better, including your industry with solar that makes all the sense in the world. In the same way that legalizing and administering cannabis and gambling and booze and all sorts of things, that I try to take a deeper dive into this. And I'm telling you, man, the Mako thing, and this is a tip of the cap to Don Moeller and to you and to anybody else that's ever been kind to me down there, which is just about everybody, and takes me seriously, which is absolutely everybody. And I'm the only one there doing it. I'm the only dude like me who has a thing like this that goes down there and sits and talks to black, white, Republican, East, left, Israel, Gaza, senator, congressman, anybody who wants to sit with me. And that's sort of an open door policy. I heard Bill Maher going crazy about this 2 weeks ago, saying, "Hey, man, Obama finally sat with me after 8 years, but the Clintons won't come near me. AOC won't come on. But, you guys get pissed when Republicans come on, but there's a lot of Republicans that won't come on. You know what I mean? So, like, I will have anyone on that wants to make sense. And Mako gives me some semblance of hope that when I go back up to the mayor of Ocean City, and he's eating crabs a day and a half later. And I say to him, you know what, man? You won me over on this wind issue. And I don't need to hear from the Italian company, although I will. I'll hear from Wes Moore or Bill Cole or the other Bill Cole or anybody else that wants to talk to me about wind and why that's a good idea. I'll hear it. But I sort of think it's a bad idea. So I'll take it that I had my mind changed on issues. I was lobbied on issues. I was lobbied on some Deep Eddy vodka as well and tourism commission. But I'll put that to you that the real gift to me is opening my mind. In addition to
uh,
my palate to eat some ugly pie and some Fisher's Pop.
100%, and that's why you and I can be friends. We can have impassioned debates, right? And then 5 minutes later, we're yucking it up about the Orioles or the Ravens or whatever. Like using words like open-minded, conversation, changing of minds, like that, in my opinion, is a level of maturity that we're trying to help everyone find. See, I think we confuse loyalty with open-mindedness, right? And we let loyalty get in the way sometimes. And that's just because we're not entirely sure who we're trying to be loyal to. And we love our tribe and we love our people and we love to be right and we love for people to like affirm our opinions and all that good stuff. But the juice is exactly what you're saying. So I am an
I only
admitted,
learn things in good debates with people, with
right.
educated, informed people.
And it's fascinating. And even if you allow yourself a moment as like self-recognition to know that you did just get your mind changed, or you at least moved slightly closer to the other side, or can understand rationally, logically the position that the other side takes, and it's not just screaming highlight, screaming highlight, screaming highlight. Like I think that is totally the gift that we're trying to bring to, like I think about my kids and the world they're growing up in, and the idea that you're not supposed to talk politics. And I know that's been a joke forever. What don't you talk about at the Thanksgiving dinner table is like politics and religion and whatever. So, but my kids literally, like you go to school, they're not allowed to talk about any of that stuff, right? Because it's so dangerous and the teachers just don't want that grief that they just try and shut all that down. And it's disappointing. And I understand why they do that. Like it is like just really hard and everybody has an opinion and you're not trying to pick fights. But we've got to teach kids how to have open dialogue. On the win thing, I really don't know and haven't done, hours and hours of research and all this other stuff. My opinion is very simple. Like that seems really hard to do. And yes, potentially like ruining things that we can't really understand.
Well, I would
So,
just say why?
right,
Don't we have better ideas than that?
that's my
That's
point.
all. That that
The
that's
well,
like give me a better idea than that. If I'm on
very
Mars and that's my only
correct,
and maybe
correct,
out in Maui and I said I at some point I'm going to
correct.
do the research on that. Find out how that wind thing got built up on that hill in Maui and how it's beneficial and has really cut energy costs by 50% to every person that lives in Maui and made their life better because they have three towers up there. If that's the truth, I'm in.
Right.
I'm in. I'm in.
This is
I'm good
very
with that.
right. This is very self-serving, but there are billions of square foot, billions of square foot of open roof space that no one looks at, that all its functional purpose is to keep water out of buildings. As soon as we fill all those with solar, and then we still have a demand problem because we're building all these data centers and AI needs all this power and blah blah blah, fine. Then let's go put wind turbines where we need to. But I'm with you. Like it seems pretty simple and
I
sort
don't
of
think wind turbines on a farm are ugly, by the way. Like, just in a general sense, I've seen
me
this in
too. Me
Holland. And
too. Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
I don't think water towers are ugly. As a matter of fact, my wife and I always make a joke. And this is like literally, if I live long enough and I get the trailer that I so deserve to live in, moving trailer that I deserve
Right.
to live in, from where I came from, I would take selfies in front of every water tower in every town,
Right.
because I think that they're indicative of having been there. I have,
Sure.
so I do
Sure.
have a lot of pictures of water towers that I've taken for poops and giggles and sent to my wife. When I went to my mom's hometown of Abbeville, South Carolina, I made sure like I take pictures when I'm away from home without my wife. A lot of times I'll just take one just to kid around with
Right.
her and say, I'm in Frankfort, Kentucky. Here I am. You know what I mean? But I
Look,
don't put
we,
them up. But like, I don't see them as eyesores. I see them as a structure of community. That being
right.
said, I don't think we need wind turbines out in the middle off of 4th Street in Ocean City right now. If that's the best idea we have, we any more than we should have people going in the coal mines in West Virginia, but right, and for health purposes and all sorts of things. So we can get into all of this, but I just wanted to say that I get a little bit of hope at Mako. Is that fair?
Yeah,
Does that
yeah, 100%. I do think that it is, and this is something that I believe in strongly, is this idea of getting into these comfortable, less formal situations. Um, Unfortunately or fortunately, it probably does involve, a couple of cocktails, but like you put people in flip-flops, they tend to just be a little bit less buttoned up and they're able to have some interesting conversations. So I can totally appreciate that you get hope out of Mako. Um, I got less hope, I got more gratitude. Like I just felt really thankful that like I have all these people that I know and that I get to talk to them and that they make me smarter and that I get to introduce them to other people. And I think from a hope standpoint, one observation is, and this was true in Vegas and it was true at Mako, you can really see, or at least I can, the demographic shift. Like the guys from my father or grandfather's generation that I was lucky enough to get to know because my father or grandfather introduced me to them, they're not around. I don't get to hang out with them in Vegas or at Mako anymore.
you're becoming
Like,
one of them?
yeah, maybe. I know. I don't really want to. I'm not ready to acknowledge that yet. I'm not ready to acknowledge that,
I
but
went
that
to
is,
bed at 8 o'clock on Thursday night, dude. So
and I am inspired by this the 30 something crowd that I'm getting to know and meet, and like they're common, man. Like they're learning, they're into it. They have so many advantages over what I think about like where I was when I was mid 30s and what I knew, like they're already at Vegas. They're already at Mako. Like people are already sharing this information and they've shown enough grit and
well,
grind
it's
in their
leadership. I mean,
career.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what it
It's
is. It's leadership,
so
or it's an
it's
attempt at leadership, or
so
whatever leadership would be.
I would give you that as my hope comment is like I I am confident like that there is a next generation and like they're going to continue this work of making Baltimore and Maryland a better place. So that is hopeful.
Bill Cole's here. He is Cole Roofing and Gordian Energy. He sponsors our WNST tech service for all things sports and sports breaking news. When weird things happen, Luke texts them out. And we have football beginning here right around the corner. We're looking forward to that. I'm getting the Maryland Crab Cake Tour out on the road. Bill is slated to be out when I think banner editor Chris Corman's coming out. So you might wind up doing an hour of like sports news, Justin Tucker, journalism, all of that stuff with me at Costas on Monday. We're going to be at it, all of our sponsors. And I'm eating. So this is a big week, and it's really kind of a big month. Um, I swear you're going to be the last piece I'm going to do with the 26th anniversary Oyster logo. I'm going to get my 27th logo up. It's really cool and shiny, and I love that Jessica did it upright. I didn't even do it on AI. It was done by like real humans. At least I think
Nice.
she's a real human.
Uh,
She's still here. So anyway, food. 27th anniversary, I was going to do crab soup. And I think I'm going to do the breweries again because I saw some of the brewery people down in Ocean City and I'm thirsty.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and I know where all of them are, and it gets me to the west side of the state where I didn't go this year. I went to Eastern Shore. So this is where the food road, Maryland, Nestor serendipity weird thing happens, right? So at some point, like in March, I sort of exited the crab soup idea and entered I want to like feature where I really eat. places that I really love that I don't always plug. My favorite Chinese joint, my favorite Thai joint, my Indian joint went out of business. So, I mean, I'm a mess on that. One of the barbecue places I wanted to feature out in Emmitsburg, out of business. Chubby's gone. So there's a couple of places I wanted to put in that I even investigated. I'm like, oh my God, they're gone. Now, that being said, I wanted to feature my places, my hardcore Costas, Pizza John, places that you just know I'm there all the time and I'm in there all the time. And where would they factor in on this list? And I wanted to be really fair to like Leonard Raskin always says his line when he eats too much, which is he would say too often, he would say, I'm eating like I'm going to the chair, is what he says. I ate like I was going to the chair. And I'm like, okay, that's a fun reference. And I'm thinking, all right. So like
That's pretty
if I
morbid,
had to
but I
eat
get it.
my last supper or the last thing or the first thing I would like if somebody came from Mars and I'd say, here's the best thing I've ever eaten here in Baltimore, I'll take you here, what would it really be? And some people would say, a burger cookie, and some people would say, whatever, right? So for me, I had to really think about this. And when I start to make these lists, I'm like Santa Claus. I'm checking it twice, um, and the top 25 were kind of like really obvious to me. Like there were a couple things on the edges that were here and there, here and again. Should I or shouldn't I? And then I thought like I need to do some stuff on the road to Ocean City. So I included last week Old Salties. And this is where I want to bring you in on this because you got kids and a family and you think of yourself as a Maryland guy, even though you don't dress yourself in a Maryland flag and all of that. Have you been to Blackwater Refuge? Have you been down to Hooper's Island in your life?
Mm, I guess not. I mean,
See
I don't
this?
know.
This is not the enthusiasm I'm looking for you, Billy. I mean, all right.
Well,
So
number
before,
one, I'm stuck in my head trying to figure out what the heck my
okay.
list would be because that's
So
a really great question. But
well, right, and well, it's like your favorite albums or whatever.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
I for my 27th anniversary, I am featuring, and the hashtag is Tastiness, Tastynes, Tastiness. My tastiest foods. So I had a crab cake in Hooper's Island at a place called Old Salties. Now it's owned by Baltimore people now. I got snaked at the bar, completely remodeled since I was down there 2 years ago. Looks like a different place, completely modern. I mean, it's beautiful. Still got the flies down there now, and they got the oysters and all that. So, go down there knowing you're in the country. But when you drive down there, Billy, and I'll tell you this, I and this is an amazing thing for anyone who really wants to see this state and loves this state. I made it to Smith Islands, the island, Smith Island cake. Like I
Sure,
took the
sure.
boat out there. I got bitten on the back of my neck. I told the Dorchester County tourism guy, Danny, my buddy, who I saw him at the tourism event. He took the my dude John Wortham, former Sports Illustrated writer, decorated writer and author, friend of mine, tennis writer, who is a 60 Minutes correspondent now, who was the Smith Island correspondent if anybody saw the 60 Minutes piece. So when I went to Hooper's Island with Jen 3 years ago, whenever I went down there the first time, and I haven't been back since. And I went to Smith Island. Now that I've been to Smith Island and I've been to Hooper's Island, if you go, you don't need to go to Smith Island because it's really hard to get to, and you should go if you want to be a tourist and do it before it sinks and all of that. But you drive into Hooper's Island, it's the same experience, same vista, feels the same sort of way that Smith Island feels. So, dude, you can get to Hooper's Island in 28 minutes from Cambridge. When you go through Cambridge, on the other end of Cambridge, just when you're making the turn and it veers left toward the flatten out a little bit toward going to Vienna, make a right turn where it says Harriet Tubman Trail, Blackwater Refuge. Billy, build an extra 2 hours in. I'm serious.
I
Build an extra
get.
2 hours in on the way down to the beach next summer, next this fall. If you're going down for the concerts, this like I swear to you, you will not. be disappointed. It was cloudy the day I drove and it was still beautiful. Had it been sunny, it it's otherworldly, dude. And just drive down to Hooper's Island, get a crab cake, pop in, pop out, get an iced tea, get a special iced tea, whatever you want. See it, just see it and feel it, and drive the Harriet Tubman Trail, the back roads. They're not dirt roads, they're just narrow roads over there. They're farm roads and they're beautiful. It's stunningly beautiful. And all you need to do is just drive 20 miles off of 50 and 20 miles back onto 50 and have a meal and see how flat, beautiful these piers, people fishing off of piers quietly. You'll think you're in Vietnam. You'll think you're in lower Louisiana. You won't think you're in the Everglades. It's really swampy, but it's right here, man. And it's so beautiful. So there's my postcard for you to tell you that this crazy tour took me back down there. And all I can tell you is how beautiful this state is if you just make a right turn at one of those brown signs that looks like a federal thing that Trump's trying to shut down, like the Harriet Tubman Trail that really happened. That's a significant, monumental part of this state's history.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, Ness, look, this is definitely one of the things I appreciate the most about you is your ability to sort of just peel back the onion. Like you're right. Like I've been Google mapping while you're talking here and trying to see what it is. And
It's a nothing trip. It's 20 minutes.
I
I'm not
got it.
inconveniencing you.
No, no,
I'm
no.
telling you, if you just get your family in the car a little earlier, you're going to get stuck in the bridge traffic. You're going to get pissed off as you try to make your way through Ken Island, and then make a right turn real quick. You don't even need to
Yep,
have a sandwich if you got an extra drink in the cooler. You're going to want to get out of the car and take pictures. That
yep,
visitor center at Blackwater is unbelievable. Go there first. Take your kid. Don't even tell them you're taking them. Don't have them Google it or anything. Just say, this is it. You're not going, it's cloudy. We're not going to the beach. Go to that visitor center and see the birds, the wildlife, the way of life, the history, the black history, the racist ass white history, the birds, the protected area, the shore, the slaves, the freedom, the beauty. It's all the crabs. It's all there, dude. All of it.
yeah. I totally get it. You're
10
100%
minutes from
right.
Cambridge, dude. 10 minutes. And 10 beautiful minutes. And there's a water tower you can take a picture of at Cambridge on the way down that road, Woods Road. Bill Cole is here. So anyway, tastiness. What do you got for me? Where would you take me? Like where? I mean, it's one thing to say I'm some highfalutin executive that makes roofing, and you got to take me out and buy me a steak dinner and treat me like, take me to Prime Rib or Rich
Yeah.
Chris or whatever, wherever you take me, Charleston, wherever you take me, right? But where, what do you love to eat? What's a thing that is there a place in Bel Air or a place in Kingsville or a sub you've been eating your whole, you got a thing, right?
No. So it's not fair for you to engage with me in this list without giving me, time to prepare it because that is something that needs to be deeply thought about because I do love food. Now I'm very equal opportunist on the food front. Like I really don't care. I will eat anything other than sweet potatoes. I'm not a sweet potato fan. That's pretty much the
Dude, you
only
eat
item.
deviled eggs. You've been through this. You'll eat
Right.
anything. Yeah.
Um, I mean, there was a time period where my friends referred to me as Billy Cheesesteak. So like
Mm.
I do enjoy a good cheesesteak, but I would not there's like I wouldn't force them to go to Captain Harvey's. I wouldn't force them to get like there's no
You
it's
said
just sort
Captain
of
Harvey's first, though. Is that the cheesesteak you
no
measure
it,
all other cheesesteaks
I
against?
it's not but it is one of it's probably the only like place with a cheesesteak where those two are linked up, right? Short of going to Philly and all their weird stuff. But um
People tell you Pizza John's has a cheesesteak that's better than any place, and I wouldn't
yeah,
argue. I have
right.
not had a cheesesteak in this town that is better than the cheesesteak at Pizza John's, and I would say that with my life on the line, and I'm probably going to say that on Friday because going to be number 9 on my list, but
Yeah.
really it's the pizza, and it's the pizza that I get there, specifically the pineapple and ham and pepperoni. Nobody else would get it that way. A friend of mine told me about it years ago, and I trusted her, and she was right. And I've never gone back, but the Supreme over there, my thing. But like
Yeah.
when you're over there, and John Rollo wrote this up on my Facebook when I was there a couple months ago. He's like, um, I think the cheesesteak's the best thing. I tell people to go there and get the cheesesteak. They're like, go to a
Sure.
pizza place and get the cheesesteak. Yeah. Uh,
Sure.
so if you got a better cheesesteak than Pizza John's at this moment, now I would give you Captain Harvey, Steve Cerrone. You know I love you, and I love Captain Harvey, but and I loved Harvey Myers too. But I would say I don't know where else to even go to get a cheesesteak. And that's no offense to Cooper's or other places where I've had cheesesteaks and said, fine, good, very good, but I'd still go to Captain Harvey's or Pizza John's. And I'm going to give you a place before the segment's over.
The problem I have is due to my deep love for cheesesteaks. I really don't put one above the other because
You just get it.
I'm just so excited to have one. Like I don't even care, right? And sure, there's ones that are slightly better,
Do
or
you have a
but
favorite? Like right
no,
now,
no,
no, if
I
I
don't.
come on, dude, if I
I
said,
really
let's
don't.
go get a cheesesteak right now, where would you take me?
I have no idea.
Okay. All right.
I have no idea.
Well, I'm going to give you a spot, and I gave this to Leonard Raskin because part of this eating thing leads to the serendipity of meeting people, like we pointed out. I went to a concert up in Philly, and when I think of Philly, I think of cheesesteaks. And I
Right.
like have a cheesesteak place that I've been going for years on the way to Philly. It's called the Claymont Steak Company. It's outstanding. It's right off of 95 in Claymont. And my wife's been out of town for a couple weeks, and I was going alone. And I just decided to have a mental health Friday night with Styx and REO Speedwagon and Don Felder up in Camden, New Jersey. I was going alone, up back, no room, no messing around. I'm like, but to make this interesting, because I am going to park in Camden, New Jersey in a shell of a fortress in a bad neighborhood for 40 bucks and tailgate with beer in the back of my car, but not too much because I have to drive home and like it was 100 degrees and all of that. I'm like, to make this interesting, I'm going to find a new cheesesteak. And to honor my consigliere, Billy Cole, I'm going to find a new cheesesteak place. So Bill, I did the research on this, right? And
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
want to
yeah, yeah.
go west toward like anywhere west. I want to find somewhere near Wilmington, somewhere in Newark. There's a
Sure.
Claymont in Newark, not well thought of, downtown Newark. I know Stone Balloon. I've been chase girls there back when I was a young man, chase bands there, the whole deal. I'm like, I want to find a place. Now, I would give a plug to Wawa here, but I was really going to give a plug to Daryl Hall. That when I went up to Philadelphia, about 6, 7 years ago, it was before the plague. Daryl Hall did a thing in Philly. It was a hoagie fest in Philly, and he brought Train in. He brought Tommy Cum, a bunch of bands. He was still with John Oates. They were still, and they were playing, and they played like under the bridge. It wasn't like at Man. It wasn't at a
Yeah,
facility. It was like a park kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
And it was a hoagie thing where he got like along with it was Wawa sponsor, but it really wasn't. It was like 50 different sub shops to feature their sliced little hoagies. It was like a taste of Philadelphia,
Sure.
but for hoagies. And you spend another 50 bucks, 80 bucks, whatever. You got the ticket for the day, but if you spent 180 bucks, you got to eat all day. And they were like, it was a tent. Like
Right.
literally. And it was all in my neighborhood. It was Zanino's was our sub shop in my neighborhood. Everybody in the Zanino's family knows I love them, and it's
Yeah,
not
yeah,
Zanino's. So, and if anybody knows Jerry, I mean, if people know the Zanino family. They were my sub shop. But in Dundalk alone, there was Filetti's, there was Ross's, all the Greek joints, all the crab houses had cheesesteaks. They had crab subs, House in Neptune. I mean, I could go down the list up and around just in Dundalk. Nico's. I mean, every place there were sub shops everywhere. So that's in my neighborhood. So in Philly, I saw this thing. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to give a new place a go in the modern era. I'm going to Google up. I looked at about 8 places that I had never been. That was the other pre-qualifier. It had to be a new place. I've been to Joe's, I've been to Gino's. I wasn't going into Philly. I wasn't going to Pat's. I'm
Right.
not doing any of that. I'm going to do
Right.
something different. And even if I have to go out to Cherry Hill, I'll do that if it's good enough. I
Right.
found a place. I see you're Google mapping it because this is who you are. I've already written about this. It's already a Baltimore Positive. I want to give this guy some love because this place was so freaking good. I've been there one time. It's called Iannoni's, Ioannono, in Newcastle, Delaware. It's at the foot of the bridge. It is next to the Wilmington Airport. If you're familiar with the Doghouse up there, which is another like hot dog joint right on 40 and 1, where it all confluences there right by the Royal Farms, and the Harley store if you're going over the bridge. Dude, I went in there to get a cheesesteak because I was in the mood for a cheesesteak till I got there. And I looked and they do a roast pork, which I've never had a really good roast pork sandwich, but I'm waiting my whole life with I love broccoli rabe. I like all of that, but I've had two or three. I went to John's in Philly. I didn't think it was that good at all. I went to the place in the market, Reading Market. I didn't think it was, I just like it wasn't like I was running back, but I'm like, this could be good. The concept of a roast pork with some au jus and some melted provolone and some broccoli rabe. And I'm not a hots guy, but I'm a sweet pepper guy. So that sounds good to me. And this guy, so I go in and it's a little humble sub shop standalone. And I had to pee because that's, you got to pee when you're there, right? You got to do that. So I ordered, cute girl at the counter says, "What are you having?" And I'm like, "I think I'm having a roast pork because like I'm here and you have it." And it was number two on the recommended things. So I ordered it. And I was like, "I'm not getting a cheesesteak tonight. I'm not getting two things tonight because I don't have my wife to help me eat it. I'm not getting French fries because I don't want to be a fat ass. So, because I'm going to Ocean City." And I ordered it. I went in the bathroom and I come out. There's a line. People are there. It's not crowded, but busy. I go up and the guy's slicing meat and dunking meat over the counter, and I'm looking at it, and the guy, Billy, how long have I owned a business?
Long time.
I know a
I don't
business
know.
owner within seconds.
Yeah,
I smell him out, right?
sure.
This guy's slicing the meat and dunking the meat, and I'm thinking, maybe. And I'm like, hey, dude, you own this joint? He's like, yeah, I own the joint. In
Right.
his Philly accent, you know?
Sure.
And so nice, great guy, right? But I could tell he's an operator. You know what I mean? Hey, where are you from? And the first thing he says to me, Bill, I swear to God, on my life, I ordered this sandwich, I peed, I washed my hands. I'm literally dabbing my hands, talking to him in front of he's cutting the meat, dunking the meat, making the sandwiches. He's finishing the sandwiches off.
Yeah.
And on a Friday at 4 o'clock, 3:30, early, right? Waiting for the people to come into his place.
Sure.
And the first thing he says to me is, where are you from? You're not from around here. He sniffed out that like I'm looking around. Like I don't know my way around, right?
Right.
And he said, "Yeah, how'd you find me?" I said, "The internet." He said, "Oh, you're from Baltimore." He said, "Where do you eat down there?" The first thing he said to me. First thing he said to me, I'm like, "Oh, dude, you asked the wrong guy." I'm trying my hands. I'm like, "I'm gonna go get a card for you. I need to know you." He told me he owned a joint before he even made my sandwich. So I come in with a card, and I know I'm gonna like this guy already, and I know I'm gonna like his sandwich. I
Sure.
know I'm gonna like his sandwich, right? I'm watching him make these sandwiches, and I want every one of them. I'm
Yeah.
turning around to look at what's on people's plates, and I'm like, so. And I've seen the pictures online, which told me the
Yeah,
food
yeah,
was
yeah.
going to be good, which drew me there, right? So this
Yep,
is how
sure.
I eat with my eyes, right? This is how I find new great places and make good recommendations for people. So I start talking to him, and I said, "Man, you asked the wrong guy about food." I said, "All right, so you're in the sandwich business. Have you been to Chaps?" He's like, "Yeah, I go to the one in Aberdeen, right off the highway.
Yeah,
Special this
sure.
that." And he said, "What'd you order here?" And I said, "I got the broccoli rabe, Supremo, whatever." And he was making my sandwich. He hands it to me and he said, I said I was gonna get the Italian roast beef because I'm watching. That's what I'm watching you make, and it looks like what most people order here. And
Right.
he says to me before he hands me a sandwich, he's like, "No, no, no, my chicken cutlet. That's what you should get." And I'm like, "What?" He's like, "No, we have a special. Like my chicken cutlet's fresh. Like we." And I'm like, "Hold on. The internet says the Italian roast beef. I came here for a cheesesteak, and that is what people told me to get a cheesesteak here. I ordered the roast pork. You're about to hand it to me." He's like, "No, no, 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 no. You got the pork with the. This is a really good sandwich." And he
Right.
hands it to me, and it's big as my head. He's like,
Yeah.
"This is a really good sandwich." I told him I was going to see Sticks and drinking and whatever. He's like, it's too much food already. And I said, "Hey, thanks, Mike." His name's Mike. I give him my card. I said, "I'll see you. I'll be back. I'll be back. I'll be back." I get in the car. My car is right in front of the sub shop. It was like a scene out of The Sopranos, dude.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
get in the
yeah, yeah.
car and I shut the door.
And here comes Mike with a cutlet sandwich.
No, 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 no.
No? Okay.
Worse. Mike's too
Oh,
busy
okay.
to come out. Mike
Okay.
can't come out.
Okay.
I'm like, I'm gonna go back in there and order the Italian roast beef. I walked back in. I pulled my credit card back out. I gave him $14 more, and I said I went over. I'm like, "Look, dude, I'm gonna eat this, but you're gonna give me the Italian beef in a container, deconstructed completely to go, and I'm gonna eat that tomorrow when I get home because like." I just think I need to have it. I need to have your Italian
Sure.
beef, right? Because I've
Sure.
been looking at it and like I just want to jump across the table and get it, right? Even though you made me a sandwich and you wouldn't let me order this, like literally. So he made it deconstructed for me. And I didn't even look at it, but I smelled it the next 25 minutes going into the city. And I park in this godforsaken lot, this Live Nation hellhole that looks like I'm in a prison in Camden, literally. A concrete prison overlooking the towers that you don't want in Ocean City that we were talking about a little while ago, right?
Right.
And I take one bite of his pork sandwich, and I'm like, this might be the greatest thing I've ever eaten.
Of
Meanwhile,
course.
he
Of course.
packs me on the way out these sesame seed fresh rolls.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he put the cheese underneath the roast beef in the au jus. He put
Yeah.
sweet peppers and Rob in separate containers for me. I walked around, took a picture of it. I'm tailgating, listening to Sticks and REO Speedwagon and the Eagles. I'm drinking a beer on the boot of the car. And I started tearing it to bread like I'm at a Tuscan, like I'm like just, and I'm dipping it in the roast beef, and I'm in the parking lot. I got shiz in my soul patch. You know what I mean? Cheese dripping off of me,
Yeah.
and that's when you know life's good. You know what I mean? Where
I
else are you gonna
do.
get that much happiness for 25 bucks at a sub shop in Delaware? You know what I mean? Really?
Yeah, I'm like tracking all these places. I'm following you.
And they're not even part of the 27. That's just giving love to an Italian roast beef sandwich that I ate for 4 consecutive days, and it got better. It was better on Monday than it was on Friday. That's how good it
Yeah,
was.
I'll tell you a little. I don't know that this secret is like a secret, but you mentioned Wawa earlier, and I do have a an ex-Philly, friend. He's still a friend, but he's ex-Philly, so he lives in Baltimore now. But when he is making homemade cheesesteaks, he will go to Wawa and he will buy their hoagie rolls to make his cheesesteaks because he believes that locally that's the most Philly authentic roll that he can get for the cheesesteaks. So
It's the water.
kudos to Wawa, like for rolling out the real hoagie
I have
rolls.
never had a
Like
Wawa sub in my life because I've been sponsored by Royal Farms for 27 years, and we're looking to
right.
continue that. So I have no idea. But Bill Cole is here. He has sponsored me for what feels like 27 years, but it's only been like 15. He is Cole Roofing and Gordy and Energy. So I had my 27 favorite things to eat, and like some of them are very humble. One of them's near your house. The Philly pretzel factory, one of my favorite
Yeah.
sneaky little treats. I'm doing a snowball this week. I'm doing cookies this week. I'm doing cake this week. I did cake last week, Tres Leches cake. I did my favorite Thai place, which is just I had 3 days of leftover Thai, and it gets better. The best leftovers. I did my
Right.
Chinese place. Are you ready for this? This speaks to my serendipitous soul. My Chinese place is called. Are you ready? Happy China.
Right. Right.
It's my happy place.
Yeah.
Happy
I
China because it makes me happy.
I think for me, like I because I just enjoy all food, a lot of the joy comes from the environment, the vibe, the people, like a lot of the people I'm with,
Now,
right? The
it needs to
people
taste
that
good
you
and be
meet
fresh and healthy for
there.
me. Now, see, I got different requirements.
Yeah. So like I mean, you can't have bad food. And these days, very few places have bad food. As long as it's like mediocre and they're trying hard and they have a good vibe and there's good people there and they're kind when you come in and they really understand like
I'm not
nothing
nice
makes
like that. You can be nice to me
hold
if your
on
food stinks. I'm out.
nothing I hear you but nothing
That's right
makes
back to
the
Rappers
food.
Delight. If your chicken tastes like wood,
I
mama,
got
he just
you.
being polite. He ain't finished that. Oh, that's bull.
The Nothing makes my food taste worse than a server who is annoyed that we're there.
I got you. I
You know
agree
what
with
I'm
that.
saying? Like
I agree with that.
somehow like the whole vibe, the environment, the people, all of that. Like if you walk through the door and that first, 7 minutes, and I'm not in a hurry. I'm never in a hurry, right? Like I don't need people. I don't care if you sit me down and you don't come back for 5 or 10 minutes because usually I'm dining with my family and I like to talk to them, or I'm checking the place out, or I'm reading like
If I'm in a
it's all
hurry, I'll
good.
say I'm in a hurry.
Right.
Not like Buford T. Justice did in Smoking a Bandit, but like, but I
Yeah,
say, hey, I'm going to a show. I'm kind of, what can I
right.
order that I can get quickly? You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like, yeah,
But if that first 7 minutes or whatever is like full of sort of the appreciation for you coming in their door, man, pretty much anything I order is going to taste good.
okay,
I can pretty much be consistent about that.
all right. You're,
Easy. I'm easy. But there's a list. I just need to work on it.
I'm
It's
not
too hard
bougie.
for me
You'll
to.
find that out on
No,
my list. I mean,
I
I
know.
just
I get
really
it.
like fresh,
Yeah.
good food.
Yeah, I get it.
And when it's not, I don't go back. And this speaks to, you said something really kind to me earlier that my loyalty, your loyalty, and we spoke about that very early in this conversation about where the edge of loyalty is. Um, and I'm also a blunt person, as you found out, my Curio Wellness friends. And this speaks to 27 years of doing this is like I am incredibly loyal. And for that, I sometimes expect loyalty back in some way. But the loyalty I have to most of these places, including three of the top four places on my countdown, are not sponsors. They have no idea. I think two of the four don't even know I exist. Their ownership don't know who I am. They
Right,
literally have no idea who I am.
right,
One of the four knows who I am, and it's a small, really small place. And the other is a more tried and true place that isn't a current sponsor, but you would recognize as being associated with me in a strong way. But these are, I was not looking to add a boy in giving awards to people who are my sponsors. I go to Costas and Coco's and Cooper's and Pizza John's. I just do, and Fatali's
right,
because it's great.
right,
And the greatness is in me going to them and saying, "I love you. I love your place. Your place is great. Can I promote your place? Can we work together? Can you help me support my family? And can I help you support yours?" And that's great. But this is not one of those kinds of things for me, and I wanted to make that really clear that like I did do a bougie fried lobster at the Beaumont, but I could have done their lamb chops or their fried green tomatoes. But most of my things here are items that are less than $10, to be really honest with you.
right. No, I pick up on that, and I think that there's a correlation between places that you recognize for the grind and wanna, just honor that and appreciate that. And
One of these top four places, I don't think I've ever spoken of on the air. I don't think I've ever taken a picture of the food. And Billy, when I'm telling you, I've been in this place 200 times, minimum 200. I mean, like if you were to cut me open like a fish in Jaws and everything I've ever eaten, I've eaten at this place as much as I've eaten anywhere.
Sure.
Maybe not as much as at Royal Farms, but like up there. You know what I mean? Like we're like
Right,
up there. You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
Just because the Royal
Sure.
Farms is convenience and being
I got it.
proximity of having fried chicken, right?
Right.
But like this is a place that's legit, and I've never spoken of it. But that's why you got to follow the countdown. So there's my fish hook into as I'm down to like 17, 18, 19, wherever I am. I have a blueberry biscuit that I'm doing for you this week. I'm doing tacos this week. I'm doing pit beef. I let the cat out of the bag about my favorite donut. That's coming this week too, and that's a less than $2 item. So I'll be doing all of that as part of my friends with Curio Wellness. Friends like Cole Roofing and Gordian Energy, our friends at the Maryland Lottery, putting me dangerously out for 27 days and 27 ways to get healthier or fatter in the case of my donut, my maple bacon donut.
Winter's coming soon. Winter's coming
All right,
soon.
look,
You
dude, you're
gotta.
joining me at Costas on Monday. Have some sports stuff for Chris Corman, okay?
Yeah, sounds good.
I know you have probing questions about hints and allegations. Something, no?
I don't know anything about any of that, but I can do some research and yuck it up with the best of them.
Buffalo Bills, Baltimore Ravens. Stick to sports, nasty. My thanks to Bill Cole and Cole Roofing and Gordian Energy for sponsoring our WNST tech service. If you want to stick to sports, all you need to do is get on our tech service. You'll get sports breaking news as it happens, as brought to you by our friends and sponsors. I'm Nestor. We are WNST AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore positive. Stay with us.